Hello, wonderful people joining me over at Be Weightless. This is Jen Espinosa-Goswami. I'm actually getting ready to get my kid pretty soon from school, but I had a really interesting phone call with someone who shared with me that she really struggles with being able to stop when it comes to eating food. So she has somewhat of a history with binge eating and or just not being able to say no to certain trigger foods. So I thought I would pop on live and share a little bit about what I've learned in terms of how to say no, or if you get that horrible, horrible feeling that you just cannot stop. I'm having a bad signal, so please bear with me as I find a place where my signal is much stronger. Oh, connection is weak, Okay, we're getting better. Wonderful. Excuse me. So I wanted to share some quick messages with you about how you can, I just can't get a good signal no matter where I go. Let's try this area over here. All right. So what do you do when you feel like you just cannot stop? I'm referring mostly to food. Very few of us struggle with not stopping our exercise. Usually we have the opposite problem with exercise. So we're talking more about food today. And this is an interesting one because I have a little confession to make. When I was at my highest weight, which was close to 100 pounds over my ideal weight, my struggle was I had certain habits and rituals around my eating. Hi, thank you for joining us. Make sure you say hi so I can see who is live with me. So we're talking about what if you can't stop eating because either the food tastes so amazing or you're trying to clean off your plate or you just can't stop because you love it or maybe because you're mindlessly eating. There are lots of reasons why you may not be able to stop. And my confession is when I was most struggling with my weight and with overeating, and I was a girl who ate everything that I enjoyed eating. I ate just for taste and for pleasure, and I didn't know when to stop the pleasure. So for example, I would eat for dinner a whole frozen pizza, this is not an exaggeration, plus a 4-scoop sundae for dessert. And that was a sample of what I used to eat when I was at my highest weight. Excuse me. So obviously I had a hard time saying no or knowing when to stop. So first of all, I will say that there are very few things in our lives that we can control. I acknowledge that, I understand that, I feel that sometimes on a daily basis as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a health coach, that sort of thing. There are certain things that are beyond our control. However, when it comes to what we eat and how much we eat and that sort of thing, we have 100% complete control. Food has no power over you. Absolutely no power. I know it doesn't feel that way, but hear me out. No one can force you to eat something you don't want to eat. And you can see this example if you have young kids at home. I have a 6-year-old, so she's a little bit beyond the point where she fights every single thing we try to feed to her. But if you have a toddler and you try to put the spoon up to their mouth and they do this thing, yeah, I don't want it, I don't want it. Or you put it in, you actually get it in their mouth and they spit it out. Despite our best intentions and all our wonderful efforts to make our food fun and interesting and tasty, no one can force you to eat something you don't want to eat. And that's something we know intuitively as a child, but we forget as we get older. You control what you put in your mouth. No one else does. However, you don't, at some point in your life, you probably got to a point where you're like, I don't feel like I have control. So maybe you need to control other things that are causing you to overeat. And when I say other things, I mean either the people in your life who may be pushing this food on you or the environment in which you feel most likely to give into temptation. So let's talk about that. You can control the people who are pushing the food on you or your environment. Let's talk about the people. Okay, so I'm not suggesting that you divorce anyone, that you kick your kids out of the house. I mean, I understand there are reasons why you might be serving your family some foods that you don't eat yourself, or you are choosing not to eat. I get that. You can't divorce your family. I mean, maybe Macaulay Culkin can, but we cannot divorce our families. We cannot divorce the kinds of people that we hang out with. What you can do is set very clear expectations as to what you allow when it comes to food. For example, if your family's having pasta night and you've decided that you have given up pasta for one reason or another, or you've switched to a different type of pasta, whether it's gluten-free, whole grain, what have you, all you need to do is make it clear to your family that yes, we will still have pasta night, and yes, we will still have your favorite pasta available to you, but I choose to eat a different type of pasta. Now, this is a little inconvenient, and I understand that that's frustrating for you to eat different foods than what your family's eating. However, you choose what you put in your mouth, and you don't have to make it easier on yourself or harder on yourself by only allowing yourself the space to eat what your family eats. Your family is not eating for you. You are eating for yourself. So make it easy on you. Yes, there's a little bit more prep work involved. Yes, you might have to cook some more food. Yet, you have that food in your fridge. You have it easily convenient to you when you need to have it. And you're not cranky with your family because you end up eating something that you decided not to eat. I mean, that's a win-win situation for everyone. Okay, so what if you're like, okay, I don't control who I'm with. Okay, so if you are an office worker or you go out for networking events, that sort of thing is part of your business, you might be saying, oh, well, you know, everyone at my table is eating this, and I have to eat this too, or drink this. I know some people who are like, I don't drink alcohol, but when I go out to happy hour, I feel obligated to try liquor or to have liquor, even though it's against whatever, my ethics, my religion, my beliefs, what have you. Here's the thing. I'm not suggesting you never go out to eat because I'm a realistic woman and I live in a real world, and so do you. And you cannot choose never to go out to eat. There are times when you will be going out to eat, and there are times when you are not prepared and you haven't eaten or drunk anything before you go out to eat. That happens, right? You got to be prepared for when that happens. The best thing you can do when you go out to eat is be very intentional about what you're eating. So if you have access to a menu online, browse that menu ahead of time and determine what it is you're going to eat. And here's the tricky part. Be the first one to order at your table. Don't sit back and wait for your boss, your friend, your coworkers, anyone else. You order what you've determined is good for you because you looked at it online ahead of time, and most menus are available online. You order first because not only will it make you healthier because you stuck to your guns, it will make your coworkers, friends, colleagues healthier because the person who orders first, if they order something that's healthier or more in line with their eating goals, then the other people at the table are more likely to follow suit. So you're doing not just yourself a favor, you're doing your friends, family, coworkers, whoever a favor as well. Now, when you're scoping out the menu ahead of time, hi, thanks for joining us. When you're scoping out the menu ahead of time online and you realize, oh my gosh, there's not a single food on this menu that I can eat, don't be cranky. Put your opinion out there and say, oh, you know, that sounds like a great place. I know we typically go to Culver's for dinner. I'd prefer that we go to this place. So don't put it out there that you can't eat at Culver's. Just put it out that, oh, I've heard there's other place that's really good, has similar food, and is really tasty, or got really good reviews online, or what have you. You can suggest an alternative. Surprise, surprise, you can suggest alternatives. So if you're not making substitutions at home and you find yourself out and about and eating out, suggest alternatives with the folks that you are hanging with, because chances are good that if you put out a strong opinion as to what you would like to do, that they will follow you. And be the first one to order at the table, because being the leader you are, you will encourage the rest of your friends, family, coworkers, colleagues to eat healthier, and what's a better way to share than sharing the health? Now, the second piece I talked about was controlling your environment. So maybe you've already implemented those tips with controlling what your family obligates you to eat, what your coworkers obligate you to eat or drink, but you're like, my environment. Okay, so maybe when you're, you put your kids to bed and you're chilling on your sofa at night, that's when the binge fest starts, right? You got the TV on, you got your feet up, you're super tired and you're super hungry, and there's a bag of Doritos on your counter. You're like, I'm gonna kill those Doritos. I'm going to do justice to those Doritos. That's your environment, my friends. You can control, at least as women, because women make about 80 to 90% of the purchasing decisions in their household, especially when it comes to food. You have control over what ends up in your kitchen. And you could say to yourself, well, my kids like that, so I get it for my kids, or my husband really likes that, so I get it for my husband. Again, that's about setting those expectations. Yes, you could allow your children to have certain things in the house, and they have a special designated area where that food is kept, and that's their stash. So you could either, challenge your own willpower and keep that stash out of your sight, especially if you're home during the day, out of your mind, what have you, or you could take it to the next extreme and just say, nope, I'm not going to get that for you kids. I'm not going to get that for my husband. We are an Oreo-free household. That's up to you, and I will leave that up to your discretion. I know I work with a lot of clients who have husbands who are very set in their ways and are used to the meat and potatoes kind of diet and not necessarily friendly to different fruits and vegetables and things that my clients want to increase their eating of. So I totally sympathize, and I know what that's like. My husband himself will bring me desserts and treats and things after coming home from work because that's what his family did for him when he was growing up. It was a special thing. He likes to show love through food. Who doesn't? So, it's a cute thing, and I've had varying success over the years with telling him, yeah, I'm not eating those things right now. It's not that I'm on a diet. I never say I'm on a diet, or sometimes I say I can't, but what I say is I'm not eating those things right now, thank you. Or I'll say, oh, give it to the kids, or what have you. And over the years, it's been about 15 years since I lost the 100 pounds, I have gotten so confident in what is best for me and what my goals are that I no longer struggle. I no longer struggle with eating more than I should. I mean, once in a while, but I make sure I control both the people around me who are ordering and my environment. So, if my husband does tend to bring home, something that I don't want to eat, I'm in the kitchen and I store that food away wherever it's out of sight and out of mind. And there are certain kitchen tricks you can use to make it less likely that you're going to indulge in those foods. Tuck it at the back of the fridge, keep your fruit front and center. There are lots of little kitchen hacks you can do to make it easier for you to avoid those foods. Another thing you can do if it's late at night and you're like, the food is there, what do I do? Keep your hands busy. These are effortless portion control tips. I've shared these before. I have a blog that talks about this more, so comment on here if you want the blog link. There's more information on that. At the end of the day, you can always control what you eat, and that's the main message I'd like to share. What if you cannot stop? You absolutely can stop, and you will stop. And using these tips, it will become easier for you over time. Time is your ally. Just keep practicing, keep trying, and you absolutely can stop. Another way that helps me personally as I'm embarking on a different eating program than I've done before is to write it out. Write out everything you're going to eat the day before you eat it. If it's not written down, you don't eat it. It's a simple trick. But whatever you write down, your brain tends to keep in your head, and it tends to make your actions follow. So those are my top ways that you can figure out how to stop. You do have the power within you, and I'm here to support you no matter what your goals are. I'm actually preparing for a wonderful workshop tonight called Meal Planning Made Easy. I do have a recording on these concepts, so if you'd like to learn more about that, hit me up in the comments down below and I will share the link for you on how you can get access to that free recording. Otherwise, I'd love to hear from you. What are your biggest challenges when it comes to stopping, whether it's overeating, binge eating, what have you, emotional eating? Because I'm sure you've learned a thing or two in your time, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for joining me live today at Be Weightless. Make sure you say hi in the comments so I can see who is joining me and what one thing you're going to take away from this particular presentation. This is Jen, and just know you can stop. You absolutely can. I believe in you. Take care and have a wonderful day.